Guys, welcome to Fairway to Heaven. It is the national championship for our brothers up north. Fairway to Heaven, breaking down the RBC Canadian Open. We're live in 30 seconds. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. I'm sorry. I'm totally losing my train of thought. Dude, I saw a message in the group chat. So I was reading the group chat message while I was trying to start the show. Timeout. Let's pull Zach Morris. Timeout and freeze here. All right, untimeout. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven on the STT Sports Network, guys. We're live talking the RBC Canadian Open. Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button. Please hit the subscribe button. And also, if you're on the YouTube page, we got a poll question going. Will a Canadian win the RBC Canadian Open this week? So make sure you vote on the poll as well. We got lots to talk about today, and I'm joined by the regular cast of characters, Jason Sullivan, back from his PTO last week, Stephen Fuentes. I'm Phil Stifle, guys. And if you're watching this on replay, please drop any questions, comments you may have on this event, fantasy golf-wise or betting golf-wise, and we'll do our best to answer them. We check all replays, guys. So, guys, we are heading up north, the last event before the U.S. Open, the RBC Canadian Open. It's an event that I truly, truly enjoy because it's got this, Waste Management Phoenix Open feel. It's got this Players' Championship feel. It's got this U.S. Open type feel. This is for the country of Canada, this is a huge event. They really take pride in the Canadian Open every year. And on top of that, they got the Edmonton Oilers are in the Stanley Cup going up against the Florida Panthers, I believe it is this week. So it's a big week for Canada. They don't get many exciting things happening up north there. So, Jason, real quick, before we get into the event itself, do you feel like they really care about this event a lot?
I think they've done as good as you could possibly do to hype it up. I think, like you said, it's been around forever, third oldest national open that exists. I think it's they do what they can do. And it's funny, I don't know if you guys have seen the advertisements at all, but they really hype up their own guys. But all the advertisements have Pendrith and Connors and Taylor and Hadwin on them, and then Rory. They put Rory. And then Rory. It's there's 4 Canadians and then Rory in all of them. We got to make sure that we put the best golfer right now.
Should they just give Rory McIlroy like an honorary citizenship to the country? Yeah. He's won an event 4 times already. I think they should just make him an honorary Canadian at this point, Steven.
Yeah, but then with all he's too mean for them, I feel like they calling him a hoser, you know what I mean? He's they're So, but no, he's we haven't seen this course, but even so, it's set up well for Rory. So after this week, they might have to.
Let's talk about Rory McIlroy for a second. Let's see, how can I say a boot? Does that sound about right? A boot. Let's talk about Rory McIlroy. Not the golfer, but Rory McIlroy, the guy that's got some drama and some issues going on. Obviously, didn't have the best finish at the PGA Championship a few weeks ago. Avoided speaking to the media. Skipped his third elevated event last week and chose to play this week instead. And obviously, we got the U.S. Open next week, the third major on the major slate. What do you think, Jason, about Rory McIlroy? And, he's been up and down with his reputation a lot over the last couple years. Do you think there's any pressure on Rory this week to put on a big face, big smile, and just go out there and not just win or contend, but also get back to being the fan-friendly Rory McIlroy that we used to have?
I think so, because what he means to this tournament, first off, they have to be pumped that he comes up to this tournament every year, that he chooses to come. I think, it's been a while now since the green jacket. I just feel like that whole luster's kind of wearing off a little bit, and he kind of needs to get back in the right frame. But Steve and I were talking the other day, we were texting back and forth. Is it just me, or does everything Rory do is just absolutely under the microscope? he didn't call Jack, and whatever. You could have whatever opinion you want on that. Not the end of the world. Not that big of a deal overall. But it's just like everything that he does is just so amplified, and I kind of feel bad for him in a way. And I think he just wants to get back to the golf, and he probably wants nothing more than to come on, show a good week, have a good showing this week.
I think you hit. I do feel bad for him to an extent, right, Steven?
I do too, because it's almost like for anything now, he's the scapegoat. Yep. All the way down to this week, where you didn't really hear much about the Memorial. All you heard was Rory didn't call.
Yeah.
Jack, he didn't even let him know. And then once the Memorial got started, you stopped hearing about that. But it's like, dang, even in a week where he's not playing, he's still the gossip of conversation, because that's really what it is. And I feel bad for him.
Adam wants to know how he did last week. Me, I had a terrible week. I had an okay week DFS wise, okay week showdown wise. My betting card sucked. I did have a Scottie Scheffler outright, but parlayed it with Adam Scott top 20, and I think Adam Scott finished 28th. He almost backdoored it, then he had a couple bogeys late. Jason, how'd you had a Scottie parlay as well?
Yeah, I had Scottie to win plus Straka top 10. Scottie won and Straka finished third, so that was a good hit. And then
there you go.
Actually had a pretty good week too.
There you go. Steven, how was your week last week?
So bad. It started like a lot of my weeks, if they were just Thursday, oh man, great weeks. But then Morikawa did Morikawa things and just ruined the weekend for me.
Morikawa, there's a lot of guys that played in last week's Memorial, and we'll get back to the RBC Canadian Open in a second, because I think this question kind of translates to a couple guys in this week's field. There's a couple guys I'm starting to lose confidence in their ability to play 4 full rounds. Colin Morikawa being one of them. A guy that's in this week's field, Shane Lowry, guys like that they're just not putting all. They're all very good. They're all having very good seasons, but none of them are putting together 4 full rounds the same week together. Steven, why do you think so many big-name golfers are struggling to put 4 rounds together consistently?
Because they want to be overplaying and live. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know if it's like Scottie fatigue, where it's when he's in these events and you see him spike on what seems to be Saturday is when Scottie just does what Scottie does. And it makes Sunday instantly frustrating when these guys are waking up headed to, and then especially knowing that he's going to get to watch me for as many holes that I'm going ahead of him. And if I mess up, well, he has an advantage if the caddy's watching, golf channel and everything. So I think a lot of it has to do with Scottie, but I'm with you on Lowry. He's so frustrating right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason, what do you think about that, though? There's just so many great golfers that are just so utterly disappointing this year.
Did you guys listen to Andy Lack at all?
Not in the last week or two, no.
So he was talking about this on his show yesterday, and I thought he was spot on. It's like, maybe there really is only like 3 or 4 really good golfers, and everybody else kind of just sucks. And he also had a funny point on his show the other day. He goes, and Morikawa, I just hate that guy. And that's kind of how I'm starting to feel. Like, it's just like, first of all, he looks like it. He carries himself like an asshole. And he's just like, his overall, like, he's almost coming to the point right now where like his DFS price is not worth it. Like, he just doesn't give you the upside. He doesn't win. And he's in that same category now of like, Spieth is always high. Lowry's always high. It's like these guys don't win, and it's tough to play them in DFS. And what was funny about his point was that the 4 good golfers in the world, he said Rory, Scottie, Bryson, and Straka. I'm like, that's true. It is true.
It really is at this point. Real quick, Duck, you got to wait till the end of the show in about 40 minutes. I'm going to break out my golf swing, and I'm going to make Jason analyze my hips and Steven analyze the swing, and we are going to review live on the air my golf swing from the golf outing yesterday, just so you know. But we're going to save that for the end of the show. I know a lot of the talk after the Memorial or during the Memorial was about Scottie, and I know a lot of people are trying to say that Scottie wouldn't have as many wins. And just to put this out into perspective, Scottie has as many wins in May as the Colorado Rockies do as a baseball team. I think that puts something into perspective. Wow. And they played 25 plus games, and yeah. Anyway,
They also had 5,500 fans at their game yesterday.
That's a lot. I thought that was a pretty high number. I hate the argument that Scottie Scheffler would not have as many wins if everybody was over here. I kind of feel like Scottie is that damn special. He might be boring. He might be, unlike exciting in any way, but he's that damn good.
He's also plus 250 at the U.S. Open for next week. Like, they're not, Vegas isn't stupid. They know, they know what they're doing. He's the best golfer in the world by far. I mean, obviously Rory had a good start to the season, but I just feel like Scottie's the best golfer in the world right now. And if that were the case and, it was overinflated, those guys are playing in majors. He's still 250 to plus 250.
I tried on Sunday or Monday. I forget when I posted it. I tried to parlay Scottie winning the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, and next year's Masters to complete a Scottie Slam. And DraftKings and Fanatic Sportsbook, none of them would allow me to do it. Yeah. And I know they used to allow that because I've done that in the past. None of them would let me parlay Scottie winning the next 3 majors.
I don't want to lose the money.
Yeah, I don't even know what the odds were. I know it was plus 2 something there. Like you said, the U.S. Open. I think one of the other majors was 350 and one was 400. So I bet you the Open Championship was probably plus 400 and the Masters was probably plus 350. Like, they don't even let me parlay those 3 things. And that's insane to me. Because you know how hard it is to win 4 straight majors?
Not for Scottie, though.
It's not for Scottie.
Not for Scottie, though. And it's like you're not even seeing any of these live guys.
They do. I've done it in multiple seasons. So they will allow you to do this. And it's happened plenty of times. Just not on Scottie Scheffler. It's actually in their favor to allow it because to hit 3 different bets over a 9-month span is so difficult to do. Injuries, everything else that could happen. It's so difficult. They want your money. They normally would take that. Sorry. Go ahead, Steven.
I was going to say, it's not like you've heard of any of these live guys really having like multiple weeks where they're dominating on, live events the way that Scottie is, like even having rounds that can be like talked about, because I feel like they would definitely be, heading into a major, Bryson or Rahm or whoever, is just getting ready to go head to head with Scottie, who's doing this. So it's, I think even if those guys were here, he's still going to be doing what he's doing and getting these wins.
All right, let's get to the RBC Canadian Open this week. TPC Toronto, first time course, just under 7,400 yards. We're rolling blind, obviously, this week. There's no course data because there's never been a PGA Tour event. It's even a fairly new course, having just been built in the very early part of 2001. They already really like this course because they've already locked it in for this year and next year with expectations to add TPC Toronto fairly regularly for the RBC Canadian Open. So, Jason, tell us about the TPC Toronto, what little data we have, what kind of golfer should have success here this week.
So like you mentioned, just a touch under 7,400 yards, par 70, bent and POA mixed greens. I think that's going to be the biggest thing to really focus on. 3 water hazards, but I don't know if you guys looked at any of the flyovers. The water hazards look far away from where the golfers are aiming. So they don't look like they're really going to come into play all that much. 48 bunkers. Rumor has it around the green, the bunkers are going to be really deep. So that's something to sand saves might really come into play this week. I thought the winning score when I first started doing my research was going to be like around 10, but now everybody's kind of like hyping it up like it's going to be a birdie fest. So I'm not really sure what the winning score is, and that kind of sucks when you're trying to handicap it to know like what kind of guy can win. But it'll be interesting to see this week. I think you're going to have to bomb it off the tee. That's for sure. Long iron game's going to have to be strong, and then someone's going to have to get high with the putter.
Yeah. I was reading John Houseborough, PJ Tout, and he was comparing it a lot to like, how we did our research and the course itself to Philly Cricket Club for the Truist Championship a few weeks ago, where there wasn't a lot of data, but you knew based off the course setup, it was a short course, but how it was laid out made it a lot harder than it seemed. There weren't a lot of hazards on the Truist Championship, but the course found ways to defend. And he said the player that had the best iron play would win that event. The player with the best iron play will win this event. Steven, what do you think of TPC Toronto and Flying Blind?
Well, I went back and I did some research on some of the events that they've done here, and they did an event in, well, not PGA, but just on the Canadian, and the one winning score was 25 under, and then they did renovations in 2023, and then that winning score was 5 under, but they said the wins were crazy. So I mean, it's hard. And then, like what Jason said, I keep breeding all these things that it's going to be a birdie fest, and the putter's got to be hot. But the fairways, they said they're pretty wide open, so you don't have to be super accurate off the tee. So bombers are definitely going to have advantage. And another thing that I thought was interesting, the par fives, they're on the 18th. They bookend each other, right? So for DFS purposes, I know we're not to that part of the show yet, but for showdown purposes, guys who are starting off on the 10th hole, they're going to get par five when they turn around. So, for birdie purposes and things like that, showdowns, you might want to be able to stack your guys up who on days are starting off on the 10th tee. So I thought that was a little interesting. And the par threes, there's a lot of them that are pretty deep, that there are 225 plus. And then there's par fours there's 4 of them that are 500 plus. So like both of you guys were saying, iron play is going to be big here.
I think the biggest thing too is I think this course it's long. We know that, but it doesn't look like there's a ton of trouble on the course. No. It looks like really you're just going to have to keep yourself out of trouble, keep yourself in the fairway, and you should be good to go. Kind of like, I know I've heard a lot of people say this, and I kind of agree. Like Valhalla last year at the PGA Championship reminds me a lot of that course.
Yep, absolutely. And how much do you take into account when we're looking, and we're going to get into the field here in a second, the fact that the Canadian Open, there are several very good players from Canada that are in the event. Obviously, the Canadian PGA Tour players take this event very seriously, and obviously Nick Taylor broke through a couple of years ago with the huge putt, and broke, what was it, 75-year run of no Canadians winning. Do you think Canadians either A, have more pressure on them and makes it harder for them to win their National Open since there's so few of them, or do you think an extra motivation for them to come out and stay focused and locked in to win this event, Stephen?
I think there's that little bit of pressure for, I'd say more the big names. Maybe not Nick Taylor since he's won it, but maybe Connors, Hughes, Pendrith, especially some Pendrith is a big favorite this week. But I think for the most part, they do such a good job at putting on a good show, and having that win just a few seasons ago from Taylor kind of resets their clock to, just like you said, this is waste management for them. Right. So go out and just enjoy themselves for 4 days.
To answer it looks like it's going to be in the upper 60s, and then rain possible in the morning on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll play even longer then.
Yeah, absolutely. The course, we just don't know a lot about the course, Duck, and that's what makes this job so difficult. Like when we do the Masters, it's the same course all the time. Even next week with the U.S. Open, we have an idea what Oakmont is like because it's been played there before. TPC Toronto's never had a PGA Tour event. We could go off other tournaments that have been there that were non-PGA. But when you host a PGA Tour event on a course, they always do certain things to make it harder. I forget which hole it was. I read in one of the articles I read this week that they flipped 2 holes and change some tee boxes to lengthen certain holes and make it more difficult for the pros. So, there's a lot to go into it. But the top of the board this week, Rory McIlroy is 11-9, Ludwig Åberg is 10-5, and Canadians' own Corey Connors is 10-1. We'll throw 9,900 Shane Lowry in there as well. Jason, we'll start with you. The first question of the week will be, it's normally to play or not to play Scottie. It's this week, it's to play or not to play Rory McIlroy, who's going to be about 35% owned this week. What are your thoughts on Rory McIlroy and the rest of the top of the board this week?
I think his ownership actually creeps up to probably around 45, 42, 45, somewhere in that region. But it's still a play for me. It's just he's far and away the best golfer in the world, right? Or in this event right now, we'll say. Maybe not in the world, but in this event right now. I just think with questions around Åberg right now, he had a great Sunday, but he hasn't been good in 2 months now at this point. And I always just wonder about Corey Connors. Like, I love Corey Connors. I love to play Corey Connors, but every time he's chalk, it seems like he just like fails us. So I think you have to start with Rory this week.
To start with Rory at 11-9, though, Steven.
He's not priced high enough either.
He's not priced high enough, but still priced high enough where if you start your lineup with him, it leaves you at $7,600. Can you build a good enough lineup this week? Because the 6K range is just straight dreadful this week. I know you got some interesting names and some interesting stories, but straight dreadful this week. I find it very hard to use anybody, Shane Lowry and above, this week. This is a week for 7, 8, 9K balanced builds, in my opinion, because I think it's that difficult. Even with Rory only 11-9, it probably should be 12-5 or something like that. But I still find even 11-9 very difficult to build around, Steven.
Yeah, Rory, I'm gonna have like one lineup. I'm doing 10 lineups this week. I'm gonna have one lineup with Rory just because. But Rory is either going to go out and win this and you're going to get your money's worth with him, or he's going to get a T22 and then you're going to be pissed because he's the highest guy owned and the rest of your lineup, you probably had a 3 for 6 lineup and everything. Where Scottie, at least, he's making top 5 when he doesn't win. So like that's the difference for me, why it's worth it for Scottie to then go ahead and play the 6K, 5K range, whatever. Oberg, he had a great final round at the Memorial. That's the only thing that I can feel where people can pivot to.
Why is he priced so high? How is he priced so high?
The field. And I know he hasn't performed well as of late, but in the majors he does. So I guess they're looking at that. That's the only thing I can think of in the field.
Overall,
Connors is going to be way too chalky though. So like you said, I'm kind of against
right
from
now.
Lowry
Early
up.
predictions are still under 20% for Corey Connors. I like Corey Connors this week. I think Corey Connors, if you got to play someone Lowry and above, I think Corey Connors gives you the safest floor ceiling. If he stays under 20%, I know he finished 25th at the Memorial, but before that, I mean, we'll start with the Arnold Palmer, 3, 6, 8, 18, 8, 49, 11, 19. He's a top 20 machine, top 10 machine. Can he win it? I don't know.
That's the problem.
I don't even think he's my favorite Canadian to win it this week. I think that would be Pendrith to win. But Corey Connors is due to win. And I wanted to play Shane Lowry. I wanted to be interested in Shane Lowry. But I was watching a lot on Sunday. And not only has Shane Lowry been struggling to close out tournaments, not only has he been missing a lot of big putts, like for birdie lately, and no one talked about it, this just might be me. I thought I saw a little get up in his step. Not a limp per se, but like kind of, you're smiling. Did you see something?
A little hitch? No, I didn't.
He's got a little hit. Like when he's walking around like hills and greens, he just doesn't look right. And nobody else noticed it. I even start searching Shane Lowry injury. There's nothing out there. But I have to kind of stay away from Shane Lowry now, which might mean he's going to win this week finally. But, I've been on Shane Lowry all year long, but I kind of feel like there's something wrong with him.
I just hate playing guys like in the 10s or even the high 9s where I don't think they can win. And that's the biggest thing that's my question with Connors right now. Like, can he win? Lowry's the same thing. It's like, a top 10 doesn't really do you all that good. A top 5 would be great, but top 10 doesn't really do you too much.
I mean, his last win was in 2023, Connors at the Valero. But he's come close with the Arnold Palmer and the Players this year. I don't know. I also, if you're going to use the Truist as a place where you just need a great iron player and putter on a new course, Connors had a really good finish at the Truist as well. So
I liked him better at the beginning of the week when they were talking about how difficult they thought this course was going to play. Now it's kind of shifted to it's going to be a birdie fest. If it's a birdie fest, I don't like Connors. If it's going to play tough, around 10 under, I do like Connors. So I guess we don't really know.
Going down the lineup here, obviously Shane Lowry's in the 9K range. Bobby Mack, who won here last year or 3 years ago? I think it was last year. Pendrith, who's probably the most popular Canadian in the field. Sung Jae Im in the 9K. Sam Burns, Harry Hall, Keith Mitchell, who I know a lot of people like Keith Mitchell. And turning pro for the first time this week, finally gets to collect a paycheck, and he gets a 9K price tag, which is just shocking. Luke Clinton. Jason, what do you think of the 9K range? Who's your top play here?
Nick Taylor's my favorite play in this range. I just think the way he's been playing, he's super streaky. And like we see him like you rattle off top 15 finishes, and he played really well last week. Not to mention he's from Canada, which helps the cause. So I like Nick Taylor probably the most. Number 2 is going to be Clanton. I just feel like he fits perfectly for this course. I mean, guy bombs it off the tee. He's a little wild sometimes, but with the fairways are wide, I think it's okay. So I'm going to go Taylor 1, and then Clanton's going to be my second favorite in this range.
Okay. You don't think you don't worry about this being his first professional event? There's no stigma to that changes his mindset at all?
No, because I think he played, what did he play, 10,
played a lot.
30? Yeah. So no.
I don't think there is. I like to just ask the questions and throw them out there. I mean, he's had this year alone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this will be his 6th event this year. He's missed 2 cuts, made 3. He's had 2 top 20s this year at the Farmers and Cognizant.
Started off
he's played a lot of golf.
Yeah, he started off hot and then he kind of faded at the end before he went back.
Absolutely. What's his ownership looking like?
His Clanton is sitting at 16% calculated, 12.5 lineup generator percentage. Yeah, so
I've heard 50%. His name
a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
And you're hearing his name a lot because he's turned pro. That's why I think a lot of people are talking to him about him. But who are you looking at in that 9K range there, Steven?
A guy, one Mitchell, just for everything that he's been doing lately, and he first round leader. I put a bet on that too. I mean, 3 out of the last 5 out of the last 7 starts, top 20, and then 3 of those he was the first round leader. And everything that he's good at and that he's been good at, long irons, from 175 to 200. But a guy I don't really normally like, I like Sanjay this week. I just, what he did last week, he kind of is building that consistency that what I think a lot of people thought he was going to have in the beginning of the season, and he was just horrible. But since the Masters, where he went T5, T11 at RBC, T23 are at the Truist, and then T16 last week. So I think his ownership is going to be low. The iron play is coming through, so I like him.
The iron play is actually pretty bad, honestly. I'm looking at his approach numbers right now. He has not gained strokes on approach since the Cognizant Classic at the beginning of March, and he's only gained strokes on approach twice this entire year. So I was in on Sung J until I saw the detailed numbers. I like Sam Burns this week in this 9K range.
A lot of people do.
I think Sam Burns could actually win this event. It's been since 2022 since he's won an event at Charles Schwab, but his last 5-6 events have been very solid. He has a solid Truist Championship, obviously the 5th at the CJ Cup, 12th last week at the Memorial. His putting, I really think on a course like this that could be a birdie fest, it could be a grind out course, it could be either way. He is such a damn good putter, and he's been so good at it for so long now in a row. I'm in on Sam Burns. That's my main 9K play.
He's been rolling it really good, like you said. I mean, if he putts, it's a whole different story. He's putting really well lately.
Okay,
number 1 in the field over the last 36 rounds in putting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can't. He's very good. He hits the ball just far enough, all over that. So in that 8K range, obviously you got Nick Taylor, who we already mentioned. Mackenzie Hughes, another Canadian.
Nick Taylor's in the 8s. Not
the 8s. I know. I let it slide. Another guy, Wyndham Clark, one of those guys that's just disappointing as can be. Model darling Kurt Kitayama, Max Homa, who may be caddying for himself again like he did yesterday when he failed to qualify for the U.S. Open. I love that. The dude's carrying his own bag like a high schooler out there trying to qualify for the U.S. Open.
That turned out to be a really good qualifier. Like there was a lot of.
I mean, there was a 5-way playoff there, and of all of them, would you have thought Cam Young would have been the one to finish that? It's kind of crazy.
I was hoping Rory would. I'm not Rory. Ricky would do it.
Yeah.
He got an exception though, didn't he? Or
that was to the Open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's to the Open Championship, not to the U.S. Open. So Steven, 8K range, where are you looking? Who you like? What are your favorite plays?
Nick Taylor, like Jason, and then Eric Cole.
Oh, Nick Taylor. In the proper range. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
got excited.
And Eric Cole, I think he plays really well in non-signature events. He's T28 or better. Good iron player, 5 straight cuts made. And he's at the low end. He's at the bottom end of this. So if you did want to go Rory in lineups. I think this would be Eric Cole would be a good move in the 8K range.
Gotcha. Steven or Jason, where are you at in the 8K range?
I think this is the range if you want to get really different with your lineups. I think this is the range to attack. Having said that, I don't really like this range at all. I wish I did. Taylor's by far the best. I got so excited about him. I talked about him in the 9K, but I like him. And then Goddard's interesting to me. Missed a ton of cuts, but the dude bombs it. So I just wish his price was like 77 and not 83. So
he missed a lot of cuts, but he's made 3 of his last 4 with 2 top 20.
He's been playing really good, and he bombed.
Yeah, so he's been. He was one of the names and tabs I had up just in case no one mentioned him, but you stole my name.
I don't know. I just feel like you can avoid this range.
Yeah, I mean you could. I actually prefer to start at Sam Burns and attack this range with a Cole, with a Goddard, with a Nick Taylor, maybe even a Kurt Kitayama this week, who I know I bash him a lot. But his tee to green game is just good enough in this weaker field. I think you can attack. You can build me a lineup with Kitayama, Goddard, Cole, and Burns, and then just see where it plays out. You know what I mean? Like you could definitely do that and get away with it, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You okay?
Every time I play Kitayama, he's horrible.
Yeah, so 7K range, a lot of interesting names. I think some of these names could be priced a little higher, honestly. I mean, Thomas Ricci hasn't been great lately, but he has won this year. Jake Knapp's down here, Justin Rose, Gary Woodland.
So many names.
Matty Schmidt, who just was second place a couple weeks. Is Cam Young playing this week for sure?
Yeah.
But he hasn't withdrawn yet or anything like that. No. I figured maybe qualifying for the U.S. Open, maybe he would, late withdrawal like Matt Kuchar did from this event. I just want to say Matt Kuchar's name just to rub it in a little, Steven. Where are we looking at this range, and why am I back on the Cam bandwagon?
You want to do upper and lower since there's so many in this range?
All right, go with whatever you want.
You want me to go?
Go for it. Knock yourself out.
All right. Just kind of stole my thunder a little bit. Cam Young is probably my favorite play in this range. I just feel like
I liked Cam Young because I didn't think he would win that U.S. Open qualifier.
When he gets a little bit of confidence, I feel like you got to roll with it. You mentioned some guys that could be priced in the 8Ks. I think Smalley's one of them. He's good off the tee. He's good at sand safes. He's really good. He's good around the green. I mean, DK points. I feel like Smalley's for sure play. And then my other one is Justin Rose. I was hoping that this event would play a little tougher, and I kind of picked him thinking it would play a little tougher. But I think it's a good setup for him. He always kind of plays good in Canada, and I feel like he's ramping up for next week. So I like Justin Rose too.
Okay. I agree on pretty much everything you said there. I'll throw a couple names here. I think Smalley, yes, could have been priced higher as well. I was hoping you said Rio's last name, Histatune, or whatever you say, because I kind of like him as well.
He's gonna be chalk.
Yeah, he is going to be chalk. I want to mention a name that I'm not playing, Steven, before you go. Another guy that I just don't know what the hell happened to. I can't believe in a weak field like this with Corey Connors in the 10K range. What has happened to Sahith Theegala? Yeah. We talked at the beginning of the year, Jason, that he was one of our breakout first-time major winner type guys this year. Like, he is having such a bad year that he's fallen to the middle 7K in a weaker event before a major.
And showing no life.
None.
Like, there's not even
some of these other guys, Wyndham Clark has a spike round here. Cam Young has a spike round there. So he's just straight terrible this year.
Was it the?
I heard he has a neck injury.
Really?
So it's
Inside
been lingering, and then
that's
why he withdrew too. He withdrew this week as well.
Did he?
So yeah.
I wasn't going to play him anyway.
Oh, wasn't even.
Cooch withdrew at the same time.
Oh, I was so excited about Kuchar withdrawing. I didn't even see the seat. So I'm just kidding. I wasn't excited. I was just ready to make jokes about it. Steven, where are you looking at in the 7K range?
I like Dietrich, bomber and a guy who can putt it. Yeah. Cam Young, I'm on that boat as well. And then in the upper, a name I kind of want to pivot to because of bomber and putting, but it's the iron play that you just don't really know about, and he's not that accurate, is Jake Knapp. I feel like if this was earlier on in the season, this is a course and a field that would have been perfect. First round leader. We talked about him early on in the season all the time. He's a wild card for me, but I'm gonna have him in a few lineups.
I think Taylor Moore's an interesting one too. I feel like he's in like talent based, he hasn't been all that great, but I feel like talent based, he can pop more than anybody in this range. And he also putts well on the bent POA mix. So that's another interesting. He's only 3% owned.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna drop down with two names in the bottom portion for you guys. One's a bomber. One is Steven's boyfriend, Emiliano Grillo, and Alejandro Tosti. Just don't want to say their names, but no, I think both those guys. I know Tosti missed the cut at the Charles Schwab, but was having a pretty solid year or a couple of weeks before that. And Grillo's had a pretty solid year as well. Not picking these guys to win, but picking these guys as sub 10% owned type guys that if you want to go 3 or 4, 8K, 9K guys, if you got to go to the lower, if you want to start with Rory and then go with a Tosti and Grillo after that, I think you can find a way to make a half decent lineup with those two names.
I like how you said the other one is Steven's boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, Steven loves. I didn't even want to play Grillo, but I just wanted to say Grillo's name to steal it from Steven.
Steve, go ahead.
Gunther's not in. Since Gunther withdrew, you knew who I'm going to in the 7K range.
Grillo. Yes, love it. Steven, what do you like at the bottom of the board here on the 7K?
Carl Phillips. I think the way he drives the ball, the distance he has, and if the weather does, if it rains, the course is going to play a little bit longer on whatever day that was. I think you said Friday. There was some rain possibly, so he can carry the ball off the tee really far, and he can get spiky with his putter. He won earlier on in the year. I forget what it was. Was it the Puerto Rico that he won? I think. Yeah. And then Vince Whaley. Another elite putter. He's got 3 cuts in a row, and he's been really accurate off the tee. He doesn't really have the distance off the tee, but he's accurate. So those two names I like down the lower bottom.
Whaley's also been good in Canada too. So I know it's not the same course,
but there's another name here. I knew I wanted to talk about another one here that has had a very disappointing season. Hell, he hasn't had a top 30 since beginning of February. Not even a top 30. Another guy that we thought was going to win some golf events this year, and that's Tom Kim. Yeah. Tom Kim has been, I mean, he's, 71, 7,200?
I love Tom Kim.
7,300.
His approach game is so bad.
Like, he's just, no, but his game is, I mean, last week, or 2 weeks ago at the Charles Schwab, lost strokes on approach, off the tee, tee to green. The week before that, lost strokes putting. Week before that, around the green, approach, tee to green. He's been bad.
If his approach game is bad, he's not a good golfer.
He's lost strokes on approach 5 straight weeks.
Yeah, that's horrible.
10, 11, 12, 13. About 14 strokes lost over the last 5 weeks on approach.
I agree with you, though. It seems like his price is too cheap, but then it's like you're not getting any upside at all. Like, you look at his finishes, there's no upside.
Like, sometimes you think a guy, yeah, well, they've struggled, this or that, but they could spike. Like a Sahith Theegala, who now I know withdrew, and a Tom Kim. There's no thought in my mind that they could spike and have a top 5 finish this week.
No.
They're just so far gone right now that they almost need a couple weeks off to reset. Where do you have anybody, Jason?
Go
ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I think I'd rather go with someone like EVR, who's playing better right now than someone like Tom Kim.
I was just about to say that. Number one in approach 200 and beyond. So I think EVR is the play. To kind of like pivot off of the more chalky guys, I think Patrick Rogers is a decent setup for this course. Guy that hits it far off the tee and also can putt a little bit. So I'm going to be playing a little bit of Patrick Rogers, which is always scary. But kind of like another sleeper-ish is Hubbard. He's been really like sneaky good recently, and he putts really well on bend and POA as well. So Mark Hubbard, sleeper play.
Hubbard it is. Hubbard.
Did he make like 18 cuts in a row last year?
He did.
It was a long
something
run.
Like that.
5% owned too. He doesn't have as much upside, but like when he's one of those guys too that like kind of like Schmid, where like if he's hot, you play him for like 2-3 weeks in a row, and then you stay far away for a while.
Yep. So. How about the 6K range? I know it's pretty bleak. But anybody you guys like down there?
I don't think I've said this in years, but Joel Damon.
Damon.
Over the last 36 rounds, he's 5th in approach in the field. He's 3rd from 175 to 200, and he's 10th from 200 and beyond. So I don't love it, but I think that's what I want in this course.
Gotcha. The only name I think worth playing down here is Adam Hadwin at 6,900. and he hasn't even been that great this year, but he's been good at the Canadian Open, whatever course it is. So I think there's
Poor
like
guy's got PTSD from last year or from when Nick Taylor won and he got tackled.
I was going to say that earlier.
It is probably the greatest golf video of all time.
Yeah.
Steven, what do you think about in the 6K range?
It took me a while to find a name. I wanted to like Carson Young, but then when I found out that him and Cam aren't brothers, I was like, no, get him out of here.
I wanted to like him, but 3 weeks ago I decided.
But then John Pock or Pack, I can't figure out how to pronounce it.
You're asking a guy that says Christian Bazuden who how to pronounce a name.
I think it's Pack.
Pack. So he led at after the first round at Colonial. Apparently he's won every single amateur award there is, or title there is. He's won in Canada before. So he looks like on the metrics, he looks decent from 175 to 200. So I mean, if you really need to play someone, I think he was 6,400. That's like the only name.
Everybody's really here this week because of the course fit, I think, but I feel like that's going to get super chalky. Who was the other one that I was just thinking about? Oh, Chandler Phillips. He missed the cut last week, but he's been really, really good. He was T10 in Canada last year too, so I feel like a little bit of upside. I'm not going to play a ton of them, but maybe a couple lineups.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's talk business here. Obviously, you guys are watching Fairway to Heaven on the STT Sports Network. Please like, share, subscribe. Drop any of your comments on replay. Vote on the poll. Go on the YouTube page. Real quick, after last week, Rashad gets on the board with a victory, filling in for Steven on the DFS contest. Jason and I still have 7 wins. Steven still has 3. We're going to get one more guest win to tie, 2 more guest wins to pass Steven, so he finishes last place. The one and dones, Jason's getting a little bit ahead of me. Steven is in behind, which is crazy because Jason was so far behind on the one and dones not too long ago. But that's where we stand on the yearly standings. So with Rashad winning, I won the week before. Do I get to pick the order?
Well, I was going to say Steven was right there, so I feel like he should. But
no, Rashad's in the comments. Rashad should pick the order for tonight between the 3 of us.
He heard.
Rashad, I'm going to give you a few seconds. Let's do our one and dones real quick while Rashad decides
the order. How much I love you, Rashad. Just remember.
Yes. Rashad gets to pick. Let us know. Who wants to go first with the one and dones?
Steve's going to go first.
Steve, go
All
first.
Right. I am going to go with Bobby Mack.
Bobby Mack.
I got to make sure I didn't use the guy that I want to use.
All right. I'll say while you're thinking, I'm going to go Sam Burns this week as my one and done. I actually think Sam Burns
used him.
No, I mean, he's not on my list. He is on my list. God damn it. How do you get on? I have 2 lists. I have my names and I have names I haven't used. I thought it. Damn it. All right. Taking Sam Burns off.
Damn it. I'm going second again.
All right. I guess Pendrith.
Oh, you fucker. Sorry.
I mean, you can go with Pendrith too if you want.
I'm going to.
Yeah, Pendrith it is. That's fine.
I got really excited right there. That was too much.
All right, so Rashad says the order will be
man.
Jason, Steven, and Phil. Okay.
All right, I'm going Rory.
This is why. I have finished in second place almost 6 weeks in a row.
You know what that is?
DFS.
That's second place. That's not first, okay? Because if you're not first,
it's so frustrating.
You are not first. You are last. So Rory McIlroy, first pick from Jason. Gotcha. Steven, you are up.
Thanks, Rashad. Love you, buddy.
Oh, you really going Rory?
Yeah, he really went Rory.
Oh, did he? Okay. I'm gonna go.
He says it was a
Pendrith.
flip random. I don't know. Pendrith.
I'm gonna go Pendrith.
All right. So that puts me on the board. I'm going to go Burns. Obviously, I want to make sure I get Burns in here. I'm going to go Sam Burns, and I am going to go Rick Cole with my first 2.
Oh man! All right. Give me Nick Taylor. Canada.
Good old country boy.
I didn't even mean for that to happen either.
I thought he said the janitor.
Damn
I'm
it.
like, what?
The janitor, what?
I'm gonna go Patrick Rogers as my first one. I'm gonna go all our names.
All our names.
I'm gonna go Hubbard, my next one.
That's not an R name.
I know.
Hubbard, I guess, but
So stupid.
I'm gonna go Whaley.
Oh, no. Who you going?
Whaley. Vince Whaley.
Whaley. Okay. I'm so dumb sometimes.
So stupid.
I'm such a freaking weirdo sometimes. How did I ever get married? Being as weird as I am.
It's the worst part.
Yeah, it's something, all right. That's all I'll say.
Oh shit.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna go with 2 7K guys here with my next 2 picks.
Oh, you're about to go.
I'm going Cam Young and Gary Woodland here with my next 2 picks.
Sandbagging son of a bitch.
Yeah, is that what it is?
I don't know. I swore 3 times on this podcast today. Not great.
That's all right.
Yeah. Swear jar.
Steven?
Smalley.
Oh, you.
4 times.
That one hurt, Steven. I'm gonna go Ryan Fox.
I've built 2 lineups so far before this, and he is in one of my 2 lineups. I do like Ryan Fox.
I'm gonna go. Hold on 1 second. Ryan Fox and. What did I do here? I'll go Justin Rose.
Rosie. I'm gonna go with Grio.
Shocking.
Yeah.
He's in Grio and
Shocking. So shocking. I'm kind of screwed here.
Emiliano.
Yeah, what a cool
No,
name.
I'm not screwed. All right, so my final 2 picks, Chris Gotterup and Luke Clanton.
My final pick.
Phil's going with the best putter and all the worst putters.
Yeah, why not? Hey, I spiked as a putter yesterday, so maybe everybody else could spike as a putter tomorrow. Or
What was
this
the
week.
last one? I forgot. Sorry. Gotterup and
Clanton and Gotterup.
Clinton. You got a good lineup. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a solid. And I didn't have to go any higher than Sam Burns. So
I'm going Mitchell.
Killer Key.
You got a good lineup too. I'm not going to win this week, I feel. I'm going to go Davis Riley. Gut feel.
I tried to get Harry Hall, who's a gut feel for me this week. We didn't talk about him, but it didn't work out there for me. So gut feelings sometimes work. You know, you never know. All right, guys. So we'll see who wins that. We got our one and done's done. I've only got 3 bets this week. I'm trying to keep it tight, save a little extra money for the U.S. Open next week. But I do have 3 bets this week. I got Corey Connors 20-1. I got Sam Burns 30-1, and I got Taylor Pendrith 35-1. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do a Rory McIlroy win parlay with somebody else, but I haven't figured out who I want to parlay him with. But that'll be coming in probably tomorrow sometime. Steven, you got your bets together yet this week?
Yeah, I got Connors 20-1, Mitchell 40-1, Taylor 50-1, and then I did Rory with Sanjay top 10, 21-1, and then Rory with Cam Young 32-1, top 10, 32-1.
Gotcha. Jason,
I got Rory to win plus Connors top 10, 17-1.
I like that one.
I have Burns 30-1, Clanton 40-1, Hughes, Mackenzie Hughes. This is just he's Canadian and he plays well in Canada. 45-1. I got Nick Taylor 50-1 and Ryan Fox 80-1.
big card this week.
I usually go 5.
I got
6.
Keith Mitchell first round leader,
Okay.
50-1.
So it's not happening this time because you bet it. He's going to finish second place in the first round, right?
Or just plus 5.
All right.
It'll be over fast. Or win.
For those hanging in there, it is time. It's time to do what I promised we would do. All right. We are going to talk.
Look at that ass.
It's horrendously
What a
bad.
professional tucks his shirt in.
Can we talk about that ass first? Sorry.
Is it on the screen? It is. It didn't show up on my screen. Anyway, I got to mute that.
Nice calves.
All right. So this is my golf swing. All right. Now, mind you, I got to set this golf swing up. All right. It was a scramble, okay? It was the 18th hole, but it was like hole like 6 or 5. So it was hole 5. It was a par 3. It was about 165 yards. The pin was placed on the far left corner, literally right on top of a bunker. All right. And I was beyond belief exhausted and had quite a few Miller Lights at this swing. All right. So, yes, it is not. Duck only hung around waiting for this part of the show right here for the jokes about my swing. But here we go. So we're going to play through.
Cleats? I like those.
The New Balance cleats are clutch. They got to be.
Yeah.
I like my setup here, okay? I do, considering how exhausted I am. I can't believe my shirt's still tucked in. But here's the swing. I get there. All right.
I like the little
wiggle.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a set Straka time. You waste no time. Once you get set, confidence there.
I don't waste time because if you waste too much time, too much time, then you start thinking about it. There ain't no wasting time when you're on a golf course.
You get a little more torque, I think.
I do know I need more torque.
But you got a bad back, so it's hard.
I got a bad back and I got a bad leg. It is very hard to get around. But I think,
is it your right leg that's bad? Your right knee?
My right leg is broken. Yes. So
I was going to say that broken. that knee. You know, if you could give a little bit more bend, and then on that left arm coming back, you could tell it was 18 because you got a little bit of a bend in there. You straighten that.
I will also say this.
That bend.
Yeah, I will say this that I have
where you pulled it.
I didn't pull it. I pushed it. I pushed it. I was pin high, but I was off to the right of the green. I will say this. I've been working very hard at shortening my backswing. Watch some golf video. And if you ever play golf and you watch golf videos, they F with your head really bad. But if you have problems coming through the ball and making solid contact, shorten your backswing a la John Rahm with the short backswing and just follow through really quickly. Helps you get on the right plane quicker. I've been working on that. Problem is I've only played 3 rounds of golf like that. So I have a tendency to get caught in between my old full backswing and my new partial backswing. You can just see my eyes right out to
solid headgear.
Yeah.
Solid headgear of choice.
The Eagles hat, always. So physically can't get that club a bit higher. I can, but it hurts like hell to get the club higher than that. Is that a safe way? I can get it much higher than that on the first and second hole. By hole 18, I can't get it any higher than that.
In good holster. I like that. Let's watch that again. And here we go. Nice little line. You felt comfortable with it because wait till he puts this bad boy away. And we're going to holster it. Look at that right there. My man.
So Rashad wants me to get more extension. How can I do that when I've got a bad back and a bad leg? How can I get myself to get more extension? Because
he swings like a 65-year-old man who's in pain.
My body is a 60. There was a 75-year-old dude in our foursome, my buddy's father-in-law, and he made better contact at times than I did yesterday. I just can't. I have no flexibility.
Rashad's probably the guy to ask here.
Rashad. Duck is not the guy. Rashad's the guy. I thought I had good head. I thought I kept my head down on this swing here. Maybe I did pull up a little early on that swing there. It was a blast yesterday. I was playing a course I've always wanted to play, Kennet Country Club. So we're gonna take that down. We're gonna close that out there. I will say this: I was approximately plus 3.5 strokes gained putting yesterday. I think I made about 3 or 4 25-foot putts, to save par and make a birdie. So I made up for my bad swing with my putts yesterday.
He's like the opposite of Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, exactly.
You would have done good.
I'm normally a terrible putter, but I had a great read on those greens yesterday. So, shout out to my man Jim. Thank you very much for bringing me and let me tag along and not embarrass myself too much out there on the golf course. Anyway, so when's the Fairway to Heaven Golf Open? And do we have to go down to Rashad in Orlando or will Rashad come up north, or do we have to go out to see Jason in Pittsburgh in Detroit, Steven? Like, how I don't know where Pittsburgh is. How do we figure out?
I'm coming your way in the summer. I'm coming your way in the summer at some point.
All right.
I'm all in favor of going out towards Rashad because that can be any time of the year.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
winter sucks for us. I
do go to Orlando. I do go to Orlando for New Year's every year. So Rashad, you're gonna have to come play. I have a threesome every year down there in Orlando. Me and my brother and my brother-in-law play. So maybe Rashad could be my fourth guy on the team there.
There's a threesome with his brother-in-law. And his brother.
No, that's weird. Rotating sites like the Open. Yes, rotating.
There we
sites
go.
like the Open. I like it. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap the RBC Canadian Open up right there. Bad for business.
There we go. Doug won't let you fit. Hey, that'll be the first thing Doug brings up tomorrow.
It never works out, Duck. It never works out in the end, just so you know. It always causes a problem.
Always a good idea until it's not.
Yeah, it's always a good idea until it's not. Trust me. We'll just leave it at that. That's all I will say about 3 becomes
4, right? Then shit hits the fan.
No, just that's just too much work. Okay,
we're getting canceled for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, with that being said, we're gonna wrap this up. We're back next week for the U.S. Open. We go from the Canadian Open to the U.S. Open, a real national championship, not some fake Canadian championship. I'm just kidding. Kidding to all my Canadian friends out there. I got a few of you. But anyway, everybody have a great day. Please, if you're watching this on replay, drop your questions, your comments. What does this say here now?
Steve's got a question or something.
Yeah, I don't.
Steve's got a point.
Good for next Sunday. You guys want to do are you guys good for a Sunday stream for the U.S. Open?
Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to see. I have to see what the work schedule is like. It's pretty tight at the shop right now. But if I'm not working, we'll absolutely do a U.S. Open stream next Sunday. But with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We'll be back next week. And, of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., trending in the a.m., guys. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, guys. Everybody have a great day. For Jason, for Steven, I'm Phil Stiefel. Let's have a great week, guys. Bubbles up.